Good evening, my local drones. This is Bio Gundam, and I'm here for another review. So today we're going to be reviewing Akaneiro ni Somaru Saka, and basically, just to bottom line it, this is another anime based off a porn game, so, expectations are very high. So my first impressions when getting into this anime, I was like, okay, great, another anime based off a hentai game. I really need to watch something different, I guess, but then, I'd run out of series to review, because if I didn't go down this rabbit hole enough, I literally wouldn't have content. So when it comes to the story, ladies and gentlemen, drones of all ages, I welcome you to generic rom-com anime number 9572 and 20. Our story starts out with Karagiri. Is a not-so-average girl. She's the treasured daughter of the Katagiri family. She's usually kept under strict supervision, but one day ends up walking home from school on her own. This proves to be instant trouble when a group of boys start harassing her. Oh, the misogyny and the oppression. Our main character, Junichi Nagase, who was on his way from home, sees the trouble Yu, Japanese, I'm just going to call her Yu, and comes to rescue. One of the boys recognize Junichi as the famed Gino Killer, and they dash off and run away for their lives. Yu thanks Junichi, and when she asks for his name, he just waves her off and leaves like a Chad. Of course, he regresses instantly, trying to act cool in front of a beautiful girl right away, wishing that he had asked her name, so he can get some more on the side. The following day, a new transfer student joins Junichi's class, and shocker here, it's Yu. She calls out to Junichi out as the famed Gino Killer, the only name she remembers him by. And rumors about the two spread quickly. Matters are made even more worse when Junichi kisses Yu due to a misunderstanding. And to top it all off, it actually turns out that Junichi is his fiancé, because her father is basically pimping her out to our main MC, which is problematic for quite a few reasons. Because on the one hand, she thinks that Junichi is not worth her time, but does not want to go against her father's word. And to top it all off, she now has to live with the poor! So, my local drones, today's generic harem porn game story is about a man and a woman being forced to live together and start a relationship together, with the twist being that they don't really like each other, and both of them aren't really big fans of getting married by force, which I thought was an interesting idea, especially coming from a generic visual novel anime adaptation, because the idea of people who hate each other and slowly become kind of close to each other over time is interesting to me, and that in itself seems to set up a somewhat higher standard and higher expectations. When I was first getting into the series, and from what I've read of other people's reviews, it seemed like quite a few other people had slightly higher hopes for the series, not be a boring, done to death porn game adaptation. But sadly, that element and plot point by itself is not enough to warrant a decent story, even if it's a generic porn game anime in my eyes, because that whole plot point gets retconned and scrapped in the worst way possible, because they decide to throw in this love triangle going on in the background involving Junichi and his non-blood related sister, I think, and Yu, which was solved in the most cliche way possible and involved the most hammy of drama, because our main MC has to admit the fact that he can't live without a sister and needs her in his life. While I'm watching this, I'm just thinking to myself, really, show, you're going to do this? Why? Because you had something somewhat good here, and now you're just going to throw it off a cliff. Like, I would have just preferred if they just focused on Junichi and Yu's relationship. Like, that would have been 10 times better. Like, I had higher hopes, and they were dashed in a second. And I am not really salty, and I don't really care. They went with this whole incest is wincest route, but it was so poorly presented and handled that I cannot not help but complain about it. And the moral of the story is, don't have high hopes for anything, including anime based on porn games. But if you think that's the only thing I have to say about this series, then you are dead wrong, my local drones. So, where to start? This story has the most random as fuck scenes that I've ever seen in anime to date. And I am not joking when I say there are episodes where there are huge robots and monsters show up, or scenes where the main character's parents who are spies or something doing missions. And there's even scenes that hint that aliens or some top secret group or organization is watching our main character, for reasons we'll never know. Maybe it was explained in one of the visual novel routes? If it was, someone please tell me in the comment section. Now, I can slightly forgive the randomness at times because I find it funny, but I feel like it derails everything and it makes for very bad filler to pad out the episodes. Like this shit just happens and there's no fucking context for it. There's just no context. Just this random shit happens. I mean, there's another scene where he goes to meet his parents and a bunch of armed thugs try to kidnap him and his parents shooting back and he's in the middle of a gunfight. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are they trying to kidnap him and shit? Is he some sort of I have a theory going going on that the main character is actually like a prototype super soldier that the Japanese government is developing, or that he is involved somehow with some like top secret government project or something, and that's why a lot of these organizations are kidnapping. But anyway, I digress. And since before I kind of went on a tangent there, and speaking of padding, there is a segment where characters were talking about instant curry for 5 minutes. And if you want to get to the meat of the story and skip the bullshit, skip bullshit right away, only watch episodes 1, 2, 10, 11, and 12. And you're welcome. I just saved you most of your time that you would have wasted on this generic, uninspired porn game adaptation. Now, when it comes to characters, the main character is pretty much a generic protag-kun, with the only thing being slightly interesting thing was this whole Geno killer thing. But besides that, he's just your average nice guy who's slightly rough around the edges. The other characters are pretty much one note and nothing really special about them. In fact, I don't remember or know their names because I don't give a shit, and the series itself doesn't allow you to give a shit. They're basically just cardboard cutouts. I mean, my PC has more character than these guys, and that's saying something. And the only character that I liked and made me very happy while he's on screen was the teacher, who was just such a troll and made me laugh every time he was pulling shit. So thank God or Satan that he was there, because I think he just saved the show for me. When it comes to art or animation, the animation for the most part was alright, nothing good, nothing really bad about it. The background's alright, everything is fucking average. It's just a standard low-budget animation production, so don't expect any sakuga or anything of the like, unless you're into bright colors, because the art style is a bit too bright and colorful for my taste, but maybe to pretty color fag out there, it may be to your refined taste and palette. The character designs looked alright, but it's just the usual shit I see in other generic visual novel porn game adaptations, and because of that, it lacks lots of punch, and there's no appeal, or any sexual appeal for that matter. It's just cardboard cutouts that, they are literally cardboard cutout waifus. And if anyone who likes that shit, good for you, but sorry, I have more refined taste. Now, when it comes to sound, it had an okay opening and ending song, but sadly I don't care for it because generic visual novel music isn't my thing. The OST is also pretty average by standards of rom-com and also visual novels. And this is more or less a problem I have with a lot of these anime, because nothing really took my interest because aka porn game, and 9 out of 10, these types of series never really deliver in their music department for me. Even though 9 out of 10, I'm not really playing the game for the music, wink wink. Now, sub voice acting was okay, but I feel there wasn't much passion put behind it, and I feel that the people doing the voice acting were being held hostage by the anime studio that made this brilliant masterpiece of great writing. Now, when it comes to enjoyment, I don't really have much to say about it. It was pretty generic, but one thing I did enjoy is that it had some promise and it had some good parts about it. Like, my favorite episode was the episode where they have the main character's birthday, because I feel that was the best episode in the entire show, hands down, and it was just funny. It's just them interacting, and there was some funny jokes, but other than that, best episode, so who cares? So overall, Akaneiro ni Somaru Saka is pretty much a standard fare when it comes to the whole rom-com thing. It did try to be better, but instead of trying something new, it went the cliche route. So this show is pretty forgettable. Like, it tries to be slightly different, but the overall problem is it doesn't have a focus on anything, tries too many things at once, and just becomes a mess. It's an okay time passer, I guess, if you like rom-com and new to anime, but that aside, there isn't much reason for you to watch it. You're better off watching Please Teach or Shuffle if you have to. So this is Bio Gundam signing off. See you later, my local drones.